When Susie and I first got together, we'd been together about 12 months. We met at work. We're both registered nurses, and she had tried IVF in the past, I think multiple times with a previous partner. Never thought it was going to happen at that point, and then she got pregnant very quickly, and it was a massive surprise. I think in January of that year, my dad had been diagnosed with a stage 4 glioblastoma. It wasn't a happy time for me I was in the process of grief when all the way through the pregnancy. And Dad passed away at the end of September, and Oscar was born in the end of November, so they only just missed each other. Susie had been flagged that she'd had previous mental health issues, so leading up to the birth and after the birth we got 5 days in the hospital just to make sure everything was okay, and we got really good support. For Susie, I didn't. During the birth, in 2.5 hours, he'd been born, and was with Suze doing the skin contact and everything. And after 2.5 hours, I had to ask to hold my son, which was pretty traumatic, I suppose. The focus was on mum and bub. I didn't feel I could ask, so that was difficult because I just wanted to hold my boy. I can still remember just driving out of that car park with a tiny bundle in the back seat, and it's like they trust us enough to keep him alive, and it was a really terrifying time. I think I managed to look after the practical chores and what needed to be done. I think I was pretty good at that. I'm a good cook, and I made sure that everyone was safe. But I think there's a difference between that and, again, being present. That I was maybe doing a bit more than the bare minimum, but I wasn't there. I was in my own head. I decided that I needed to get outside help. I wish, in hindsight, that I had have done it sooner when he was younger. I think both for me and for him, and for Susie as well. I went to see my GP and started to talk about my struggles mentally, and how I felt that I was going, and the just stress and anxiety that was also affecting my work greatly. And my GP suggested a mental health care plan. For the first time in my life, I wanted to be better, and wanted to just have, I want his life to be good. I want his upbringing to be better than mine was. We both work part-time, so we can spend time with Oscar before he goes to school next year, and we don't have childcare. He goes to kindy 3 days a week and has activities, and things are good. We're a happy little unit. We love spending time together. If I had advice for anyone going through a similar thing to what I went through, I'd say the big things would be, before bub comes along, get a mental health plan together, but also just simple things like what makes you happy. What are some small things that you can do to give yourself a bit of a break? And you do need to write them down, because it's absolutely hectic once you bring a bub into the home. For me, it was taking the dog for a walk, playing music, listening to music, but also knowing that I was looking after my partner to the best of my ability as well. People need to know that it doesn't need to be a crisis with a capital C before you seek help. And quite often other people will notice that you're starting to sink, or you're not coping before you do. So that's why communication is good, but I think people can also put up a very good front. But there are services out there that can help you. You don't have to suffer through things alone, but it also doesn't have to be something catastrophic or need someone else to intervene before you decide to make a change.